All right. Good evening, everyone. Happy Saturday and welcome to Sustainable PH TV. So, we believe that anyone can practice sustainability, whether in your own career, business, daily life, and spiritual life. So, catch our different shows here on Facebook or YouTube. So, before I proceed to our show for tonight, I would like to plug, guys, our Art for a Cause, the Edenic Archipelago happening at the podium. So bring home an art piece this week and help champion our cause for a more sustainable Philippines. So if you want to know more about it, catch Ellen and Andrea later at 8 p.m. So they will talk to the key people who made this Art for a Cause happen. So now, going back to my show, if it's your first time watching, at Sustainabuzz, we guest sustainability professionals to have a conversation on salient issues on sustainability. We also guest practitioners to share their own journeys and their own sustainability profession. I am Mai, and I am your host for tonight. So, to push more companies towards sustainable practices, last year, the Securities and Exchange Commission Philippines had this mandate for companies, publicly listed companies, to report not just on their financial performance, but now, this time, on their sustainability performance. So, that would mean, imagine, from the original financial statements, you also have to disclose as a company, let's say, your energy consumption, water consumption, HR practices, and so much more. Because we are now gearing towards the idea that sustainability is not just about the financial sense, but it's more encompassing to incorporate social responsibility, environmental responsibility, and overall your economic contribution to society. So now, this is a very relevant topic for us tonight because we'll hear the thoughts from our friends with SGV. So please allow me to introduce our guests for tonight. So first, we have Sir Benji Villacorte. So
Hi,
Benji
Ma.
is a partner. Hi, Sir Benji. Let me introduce you. Benji is a partner of the Financial Accounting Advisory Services and Climate Change and Sustainability Services team under SGB's Assurance Service line. He ranked third in the CPA board examinations. Wow. Currently, he's a certified sustainability reporting specialist, certified internal auditor, and a member of the PICPA. Benji currently leads audits of publicly listed companies in the power, generation, and education sectors. As a sustainability practitioner, he assists clients in understanding and identifying key sustainability issues and reviews and audits related reports or disclosures on non-financial information. So, hi, Benji.
Hi, Mai, and good evening, everyone. So it's a bit long introduction. It makes me feel old already, but anyway, thanks for that, Mai. Happy to be here in Sustainable PH.
Hello. Ayan. Sorry, I think I lost me kanina. Am I back?
Hi. Yes, you're back, Mai.
Right.
So I just said it's kind of a long introduction, and it makes me feel old. But anyway, thanks for that.
You are our wise expert, Benji. So, sige, we am also introducing, so we have two guests for tonight. And now let me introduce Ina. Ina belongs to the same team of Benji. She assists businesses in developing their sustainability reports, as well as in sustainability strategies, and participates in the audits of sustainability disclosures and non-financial information. She is a certified sustainability reporting specialist. So, hi, Ina.
Hi, Mai. Hi, boss.
Pahabain ko rin yung introduction mo.
Hindi, okay na yan. Para hindi halatang nasa lang tayo, deep level.
Oo. Ayan, so thank you so much for joining us tonight, Benji and Ina. So we're excited to talk to you about a very important topic for sustainability practitioners. So going straight na to our point, no? Maybe just to let us know more about you and your work. Can you tell us more about what you do, Benji and Ina? So how did you
Yeah,
get into the idea of sustainability, the field?
yeah. Okay,
Maybe Benji?
I'll probably answer that first, Ina. So I think many of you know SGV already. So we are known as probably accounting, audit, and tax firm. So we're auditing majority of the corporate organizations in the Philippines. And through time, I think in the last 5, 10 years, we've seen sustainable revolution. So more and more companies, more and more investors, and even regulators demand more from organizations. So they don't just look for the traditional financial statements or even the income tax returns, but they demand more reporting from corporations. And that's when we think we should have a sustainability practice in the firm because it is something that our clients would need help also. And as we understand, especially in the Philippines, we're just starting in this journey. And so we think there will be a lot of clients and a lot of, I guess, issues and sharing of knowledge and insights that will happen in the coming years. So that's why I guess the reason we've started the sustainability practice in SGV. And for the last, I think, 7 years, we've been helping companies in developing their sustainability reports. Now, because as you know, it's not really something I guess they normally do. People that prepare the reports are coming from finance, from investor relations. So they're used to preparing financial statements. So this is something new for them, non-financial information. So we help them go through the, I guess, application of the reporting standards, how to determine the material topics, validate the material topics, and finally having that report printed. Okay.
Thanks, Benji. How about you, Ina?
I guess I'll just talk more about the team, about the SIKAS team. So Benji and I are both part of the climate change and sustainability services team. So within SGV, we are a very small team right now. There are only about more than about 21 or 22 of us within SGV, and we are growing. Actually, we're looking for more team members. The team members are from different fields. So me, I'm a communications graduate. So I just transitioned to being part of the sustainability practice of SGV. We have in the team environmental science graduates, chemical engineers, writers, and accountants as well. So we are really from diverse fields, and I guess that really helps in helping clients putting up their sustainability reports, because the reports are contain information from different aspects of the business, and this information might not be something that comes naturally to the company, and so collecting this data and information, they really need help with that.
Yeah. Yeah, I guess May, you captured it already in your introduction. You already said that anyone can be a
Yeah.
sustainability practitioner. So that is true. That is true with our team in SGV. So we have diverse background and we just have one goal and purpose, which is to help companies in this sustainability journey.
Right. Interesting to note na, Benji, you came from an accounting profession and si Ina came from a comms profession, right?
Yeah.
So
I
I
used
think
to
totoo
write.
nga talaga. We need all the expertise we need to solve our sustainability challenges. And right now nga, SGV is in a good position to help companies in their reporting. But a lot of times, a challenge we companies face is that they see sustainability reporting as compliance. Or something na, ano mo yun, parang, sige na, we'll submit kasi it's already mandated na. But for you, what do you think is the value of sustainability reporting?
Okay, let me have a go of that, Ina. I think for the short term, companies would look at it for compliance. But in the long term, I think there will be more commitment from companies because more investors would, I guess, demand from them not just when they measure companies, they don't just look at the financial performance. They will always use the ESG lens in evaluating companies or assessing their credit ratings. So eventually, their access to capital will be affected by how good they perform in terms of ESG. So I guess that's one I guess value of ESG and sustainability reporting. It promotes access to financial capital to companies. And of course, we have the noble objectives of having environmental and societal impact. Uh, yeah, you want to add on that?
Yeah, I guess just to add, from the stakeholder point of view, like if we as consumers, as buyers of the products and services of these companies, looking at this report, it would be good to know like what kind of impact these companies have on the planet, on our society, and knowing this information, we would be able to make better, more conscious choices on what products and services we can avail. And then of course, aside from that, looking from the perspective of the employees, there's also knowing all of these things that the company is doing for the employees. There's also that employee engagement, and then at the same time loyalty. And then from the perspective of the company, knowing, for example, their energy consumption, their water consumption, their waste management practices, then they'll be able to know which particular aspects of the business operations can still be improved, and can still be, there can still be efficiencies within the company, and that would translate to some cost savings, some initiatives that would later on benefit the company in the long term.
Hmm.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, I think Ina mentioned about employees, customers. So there is really a shift now from stockholder capitalism. So I think that's the traditional approach where we just look at the returns, monetary returns on the investments. Shift towards stakeholder capitalism, where we also consider, as mentioned by Ina, customers, employees, and I guess the community where they operate.
Mm-mm. So from a stockholder's perspective lang, Nas, I just care about the financial returns of this business. We're now looking at more stakeholders, more people who actually have a stake in our company,
That's
Yes,
right?
correct.
yes.
Right. And that's a kind of a daunting task for any company. No?
Yeah. I guess it's also not easy because some companies, they say we're doing this, we're doing that, but what is the impact in our financial
Mm,
statements? How would it translate to revenue? So sometimes, there is also the need for the shift in thinking that it's not just the financials that you need to worry about. So you also have to take care of the other stakeholders of the company as well.
mm-hmm. Agree,
Yeah,
agree. And I guess, yeah, pointing to Benji's kanina and building on your point, Ina, no, parang the way you can convince companies, if I understood it correctly, is you have to see it na access to financial capital will eventually be under ESG
Yeah.
metrics na, not
correct.
just financial sense. And with that, given na mag-iiba na rin yung ruler, we're now looking at the different other stakeholders' needs that Ina talked about. So parang you
Correct.
see it converging, no?
Mm-mm, mm-mm.
Correct. Yeah. And I think there's a term that's being used. I think that's long-term value.
Mhm.
So more people are talking about long-term value, and I guess the impact is the companies will be more resilient, more durable, And when they focus more on long term and also consider appropriate purpose, no, align their strategies to their purpose, we see companies, I guess, lasting for generations. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Right. I think I'm seeing the sustainability reporting as a first step for companies to kind of assess where they are right now in terms of
Yes,
that long-term value creation, perhaps, no, and how we will eventually get there.
yeah.
So
It's
now,
actually
yeah.
just to add to that, some companies actually they start mostly if wala pa talaga sila sa kahit ano regarding sustainability. Sometimes they start with the SR muna, so they
Mm-hmm.
prepare their SR, get to know their baseline, and then eventually they develop their own strategies. They incorporate sustainability strategies into their business strategies, and then develop internal policies that would improve particular aspects of the business. So kumbaga hindi lang siya at this point hindi lang siya tinitingnan as compliance. It can actually help the company do better, not just, for their financials, but overall for the society and the environment.
Yeah, I think what Ina described is the evolution of sustainability. So I guess years before, we just call it or label it as corporate social responsibility. So now we have sustainability reporting, but I guess the long term goal is for companies to really embed sustainability in their strategies and daily operations.
Mm-hmm. Right. I super agree with both of you. And parang given na yun yung first step for many Philippine companies here, no? And I think
Yeah,
dito
agree.
papasok yung timely na report na ginawa niyo because right now we kind of want to get a gauge how are Philippine companies actually faring in terms of sustainability reporting. Given
Mm.
that for some it might be new, for others baka hindi na siya bago. So how do we like maybe you could tell us more about that report. But before that, maybe let's look at a question raised by our audience, Greenman Matthias Gelber. Are other stakeholders in the Philippines already interested in the sustainability reports and making use of them? Or maybe that first. Let's talk about that question first.
Yeah, definitely there are more users of sustainability reports. The fact that we have rating agencies already, whenever organizations would, I guess, uh, issue bonds, impact bonds like green bonds, blue bonds, or social bonds. So they would have these rating agencies certify their policies. And I think
Mm-hmm.
especially for organizations tapping foreign capital, so definitely the investors from Europe, especially or from the US, this is part of their evaluation already. So they demand more
Mm-hmm.
key disclosures from organizations in the Philippines. And it's good that the SEC released that memo in 2019. So I guess that's a very good step promoting sustainability reporting uh, across Philippine organizations.
Right. So we're seeing some stakeholders already looking at it, but I think it's still more the providers of financial capital side, no? Maybe, for example, maybe how about, for example, a typical consumer? Would they look at the sustainability reports right now already?
I think maybe Ina, you can talk about plastic, like plastic neutrality.
Yeah, I guess when it comes to for the consumers consciously choosing the services and products that they are subscribing to, there are certain aspects of it definitely that they look at. So I think one thing that we are currently seeing the trend now, especially in the consumer segment, in the FMCG segment, is the plastic neutrality movement. So it's also something that
Mm,
we are, participating in. So it's one of the growing solutions to the plastic waste problem that we have here in the Philippines. Kasi 'di ba parang we're one of the worst polluters in the world. So there's some movement about that. And this is one thing that usually sustainability reports will include, that
right.
particular kind of response. What are you doing in this particular space when it comes to waste management? You as a company, nagbebenta kayo ng mga products na, it adds to that waste, diba? So that's just one thing from the consumer's end.
Right. So thanks, Ina. So hope we answered the question of Greenman Matthias Gelber.
Yeah.
Okay, so he has another question. So maybe before we move forward, it's a really interesting question. What can be done to increase the local awareness and use of ESG data?
Yeah, I guess we have to patronize Sustainable PH, right, May? This is really a very good platform where sustainability practitioners can share ideas, experiences, share information. I guess eventually by word of mouth and also through the organizations we work for, ESG practices will, I guess, be promoted and
Yeah.
increased.
Mm-mm. Yeah, so it's gonna be more mainstream eventually, no?
Yeah. Yeah, and also from a
Right.
regulator point
Okay.
of view, they're also catching up. So you mentioned about SEC from the central bank. Also, our BSP, they
Mm.
also did the sustainable finance circular. And I think some sectors also like the mining sector, they also have the TSM, the Towards Sustainable Mining. And for the energy sector, the Department of Energy is also promoting the use of more renewable energy sources. So I think everyone is doing their part to promote sustainability. It will be a whole government approach as well as the whole organization approach that will, I guess, make this more effective moving forward.
Mm-hmm. Right. Thanks, Benji. And I guess on your side, since mas ang focus for SGV services would be generally on the sustainability reporting, you've had this recent report reviewing the sustainability reporting landscape in the Philippines. So how did Philippine companies comply with the first year of the SEC mandate? So could you tell us more about that report?
Yeah. I'll let Ina answer that because it's her masterpiece.
Well, anyway, so with that report, basically what we did is, we focus on certain industries that are considered, that have more sustainability, that are more exposed to sustainability risk. And so with this or sectors, we check what are they reporting on, what kind of report or format did they submit to the SEC, what are the contents of this report. So basically, it's really an assessment like how did companies, submit their reports to the SEC with this particular mandate that it's already they need to do this now or else they'll be non-compliant. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So the objective was to understand how are Philippine companies right now complying to that
Yeah,
guideline.
that's
No?
correct.
Yeah.
Mm. And how did you go about the review? So could you tell us more
Uh,
about the process, and then later on, let's talk about your key insights about the report.
Okay, so basically, as I mentioned, the process was, well, there are 200 plus listed
Yeah.
companies in the Philippines, and so it would be a really huge undertaking to check all of those submissions or public information. So what we did, we focus on industries that are, it's more exposed to sustainability risk. So sustainability risk would include climate change, their impacts on the environment in terms of their GHG emissions, water consumption or energy consumption. And then, of course, if there is a high probability that the work environment of that particular industry is highly, you really need to consider the health and safety, etc., etc. And so, from that, we were able to focus on 5 industries. So that's mining, banks, construction, power and utilities, and transportation services. We also look at 9 holding companies who have already published sustainability reports ahead of the requirements of the SEC, so that we would be able to gauge how are this, somehow mature reporters doing in terms of their sustainability reporting.
Mm-hmm.
That's
And based on your review, could you share with us maybe a few findings from the review?
Okay. So more than half, actually, dun sa population namin, 60% of them, was it 60%? 64% of them submitted using the SEC-SR template. So
Oh.
this is not surprising kasi syempre it's the first time. A lot of these companies were somehow nabigla, diba? So syempre the SEC-SR template was supposed is the most guidance that they could have in order to disclose and their sustainability information and comply with the mandate of the SEC. However, there are also some companies, actually surprisingly, medyo madami, that's around 40%, who submitted their sustainability report na standalone. So that's usually what we see from other companies, yung glossy with pictures and layout and the write-ups with the central message. So marami din. And it's good. It's good that companies are making this effort to be able to publish and make available to the public their sustainability information. And then aside from that, we've also seen that there is a portion. So 11% of this companies were able to publish standalone sustainability reports or even actually integrated reports na magkasama na yung financials nila with the sustainability information. They were able to obtain limited assurance. So nakapagpa-audit na sila. And somehow that shows the maturity of these companies when it comes to developing the systems and processes that they could have in order to generate their sustainability information and be able to report on it efficiently.
Mm-hmm. So 64% using the SEC template, tapos 40% mga standalone SRs, and around 11% with already limited assurance. That's kind of a good start, I guess.
Yeah, actually, it's not bad, di ba? Galing din.
When it comes to the topics that they disclosed, so given you focus on a specific sectors, no? Is there anything surprising when it comes to the review? Like, what did they reported? What was the most often reported topic on? And
Okay. With that, I guess generally with the whole population, what we've seen is there are a lot more disclosures when it comes to the social topics. So yung mga social topics, employee hiring and benefits, learning and development, at what do you call this? Health and safety, topics in relation to the employees and the local communities. I guess it's easier to report on this because usually companies would have data on it already, diba? It's just a matter of compiling it.
Correct.
I guess the aspect where most companies would still need to improve, and this is what we've seen, is that there are very, very few disclosures when it comes to environmental topics like materials or yung resources na ginagamit ng mga companies na to. Are they renewables, non-renewables, and their impact on the biodiversity and ecosystems where they are operating on. So I guess this is an aspect where companies can still improve because it's really very important to take note of this particular aspects of their businesses kasi direct yung impact niya to the environment, diba?
Yeah.
You're right on point with Matthias's comment right now. I feel that biodiversity is very underreported, even in sectors that will have a huge impact on biodiversity. Is that also your assessment?
Yeah.
Did you come up with any conclusions? Yeah.
No conclusions on why, because we can't really speculate at this moment. But it is one of the most underreported topics in the
True.
SRs.
Yeah, so maybe for our corporate reporters here, if you think you're involved in mining, energy, and construction, really with high impacts on biodiversity, because since the focus of reporting is materiality, right?
Yeah.
And if it matters, you should report on it. Great. So any other insights that you want to share regarding the report?
Yeah, I think moving forward on its second year, 2020, we think companies will be reporting on impact of COVID, how they address COVID, the safety and welfare of their workforce, and probably in the medium term, also climate change disclosures as more, I guess, guidance and guidelines become available. Companies should be able to report on this. And I think one topic that is becoming popular also is diversity and inclusiveness. So I think these are topics to watch out for in the subsequent submissions.
Thanks for the advanced tips, Benji, for our future reference. No? Right. kanina you also mentioned about companies that have already obtained assurance. So maybe to close our question and answer, what is your view about obtaining assurance for sustainability reports for the Philippines? Is it
Yeah,
something na we're seeing traction already, or is it something na down the line pa rin in the medium and long term? What are your views about
yeah,
assurance?
it's getting traction. So as discussed by Ina, it's not a requirement yet. But some companies voluntarily, I guess, have their sustainability reports audited already. And I guess it's because it lends more credibility and trust to their reports. Earlier, we said that more users rely on the information in the sustainability reports. They use this in evaluating companies' performance and also in their investing decisions, lending decisions, etc. So all the more that there should be credibility and trust in the sustainability report. So that's why uh, I think more than having sustainability reports, a company should also look at their systems, processes, controls in, I guess, gathering data, summarizing data, and ultimately being able to report on certain topics. Because just like the traditional financial statements, now all these things, all this information would have to go through rigorous governance and process and controls, so that I guess the users would have comfort in the information they find in the sustainability reports.
Mhm. Thank you, Benji. I have another question that just popped in my head kasi this is a very controversial question pero often asked question pagdating sa reporting. So as you know, there are so many frameworks out there
Hmm.
that companies can use to report on their sustainability impacts. For the Philippines, what is your view about the use of these frameworks? And do you think we're heading towards also a comprehensive reporting framework? Or are we seeing more companies doing a combination of all the frameworks? Like
Yeah.
how does it look like for applicability in the Philippines?
Yeah, so yeah, you're right on that comment, and having different I guess standards or guidance or framework would result in actually confusion among the organizations and even even with the users of the sustainability reports. So what we're hearing is the international standard setting body. They are embarking on this project to come up with, I guess, a global, universal standard. So the users say because of their success in terms of coming up with a international financial statement framework, they are in a good position to be able to come up also with a global standard on sustainability. So I think they will not be starting from scratch. So what they'll do is try to, I guess, synthesize what's available already out there. Pick and choose which ones are good, and then put that in a standard. Yeah. And I think having a uniform standard would promote comparability among the different organizations in various sectors.
Right. Thank you for that. Oh, I like the bit on we really want eventually to have some sense of comparability because that's a challenge right now, I guess, for companies. Now you can't benchmark really if you have different frameworks used. You have different metrics used also. So thank you for that. Any final words or thoughts on sustainability reporting, Benji and Ina?
You want to go first?
Yeah. So basically, I guess for now, we were seeing that it will be, as companies move forward with this particular requirement, they would be more mature in terms of their disclosures. There will be more, hopefully, more topics that will be included. And yeah, basically, I guess the idea there is what companies are reporting on now. Eventually, they would integrate this particular information and insights that they would gather with their sustainability reporting processes to their strategies moving forward with the business operations.
Mm-hmm. Thanks, Ina. Benji?
Yeah, so I guess I'll just say that today societies demand greater from the organizations they invest in or they work for. So sustainability reporting is, I guess, the first step towards really creating that long-term value where organizations don't just focus on the stockholders, but on the bigger, the broad stakeholders. Uh, so I guess sustainability reporting is really the first step towards creating long-term value.
Thank you so much, Benji and Ina. I really like your closing points, no? Kasi a lot of times, well, not a lot of times, but sometimes companies had this idea that sustainability is just reporting and it ends there. And what we're seeing is that as societies demand more from companies, also more stakeholders are demanding for it. We're seeing that we're transitioning from just the reporting to really incorporating it into strategy and creating long-term value. So that's a really bright future ahead for sustainability reporting. So maybe if we can still entertain one last question. Have you guys come across a system, platform, or software that reporters can use in tracking or monitoring for operational decision making, accountability? So maybe I think Matthias is asking about kind of a software management system regarding your data and your performance that can help you effectively track how you're doing.
Ida, you want to take that?
I think
Have
there are companies, IT software companies out there who are actually developing systems
Mm.
already for companies for their potential customers to be able to track and report this data. I can't say specifically which ones it is, but there are already IT software companies working on this particular need already.
Right. I'm sure there are solutions already because we need this info also. All right. So I guess that's it. That's all the time we have for tonight. Thank you so much again, Benji and Ina. So it was a super informative session. I'm sure our audience will learn more once they read your report. So congratulations for this
Thank
report.
you.
It's a landmark report for the corporate sustainability practitioners. And I'm sure it's going to help corporate practitioners, first time, second time reporters, no? On how they can better communicate how they're doing in sustainability and where they want to head. So I think you mentioned Ina earlier that your team is hiring. So baka
Yes,
for
actually. Yeah, so for our audience who are, aspiring sustainability practitioners and want to help these companies improve their sustainability reporting and their sustainability strategies, we'd like to, inform you that within SIKAS, we are hiring. We really are a growing team, and we are looking for associates and senior associates with 2 to 3 years or at least 5 years experience. If you are interested to learn more about our team and, apply, and join us, please just email me. It's actually here in the screen. So yun lang. Looking forward to hear from you guys.
great.
yeah,
Para hindi mas scary yung practitioners, you don't have to have a sustainability
Yes.
undergraduate or graduate degree because that's still limited in the Philippines. Ina came from a comms background. Benji is an accountant, and so in sustainability, we will find ways for you to make sure that you always have a place in the sustainability profession. So
that's
if you have
nice.
contacts, reach out to Ina. Okay. Thank you, Ina, again, and Benji. So I'll close the session lang. I'll put you off the screen first.
Thank you, May, and Sustainable PH. Bye bye.
Thank Ayan. So thank you so much again to our guests for tonight, Benji and Ina. Just to wrap up our session, if you would like to know more about the report, we'll comment it after the show. And then, as I plugged in earlier, please, if you have time, visit the Art for a Cause exhibit at the podium until tomorrow. Bring home an art piece to promote and to support our cause for a sustainable Philippines. So proceeds will go through our NGO. And later on, catch Ellen and Andrea to talk more about it with our special guests who made this possible at 8 o'clock p.m. So I am Mai. I am a member of the Society of Sustainability Practitioners Philippines. And if you are watching and you are also a practitioner you would like to join our growing community, that's actually where I met Benji and Ina and meet people, passionate individuals who also want to advance our sustainability cause. And please do sign up and join our community. So again, this is Mai, and see you next week now, this time with Marks.